Positioned yourself really well at the back as well. Always in behind, always in a place where you could block, and really got us moving forward when we won the ball. In the middle of the pitch, worked hard. Again, closed down really well, made some good passes. It was difficult in that first period, especially because nobody was really at the races, so it was difficult to get the team playing. But the only thing I would say as a stretch point is to make sure that the players are in position, or we've got the angle for the pass before we play it. And if that angle isn't on, either just look after the ball, shield it, protect it, and wait for another opportunity, another movement from a different teammate to open up, or just play that ball diagonally in the spaces in behind, so that we can get the opposition turning, stop them pressing us, and then we can move forward and play our football a little bit further up the pitch. So moving on to Jack, overall got to the ball, always looking to anticipate where the ball was going, closed down quickly, which was a real positive. Played the ball quickly, a little bit more on the floor this time compared to the last game, which is good. So lots of positives there. Just make sure that when you're defending, especially against quick players, you're very careful about when you go in, especially if they've got a little bit of a run at you. If they're already running at you, then it's best to just get in line, block, and then react to their movements rather than going in and winning the ball if we're not sure that we're gonna win it. So don't commit yourself until you know you can really win it. Okay, that's the main thing for Jack. Bryn, as ever, always a threat going forward. When you came into the middle with James and made the extra man, you made great use of it. It's always good to have a player who can run from deep, whether it's a middle position or a wide position. You certainly came in and did your best when you were at the back as well. Got some really important blocks in and tackles. Hit the post. Had some great shots. We had follow-ups and goals out of it. So, it's great to see you creating, making things happen going forward. A couple of areas where you can stretch now is sometimes we can't go forward. So sometimes we just can't, for whatever reason, space isn't there, the opportunity's not there to dribble forward, out the trouble and into areas where we can cause harm to the opposition. So let's look at just general possession play now. If I can't do something with it myself, I'm just going to lend it to someone else, and then I'm going to get into a position to get it back, and we're going to move the ball and be a little bit more patient and look for those openings. So it's another level of game understanding that we're looking at here. So every pass, every movement we make means something. It's something that Terry Venables, when last time England had a good side, Terry Venables used to say about Teddy Sheringham, so it's worth looking him up on YouTube for all the players. Terry Venables said every single thing he does on the pitch, it means something. He does it for a specific reason. So it's putting a little bit more thought into where and when we can dribble, and when we can pass, and then how we can go and support our teammates, get the ball back, build up a little bit of rhythm in our play. So that's the key thing for you there, Bryn. Teddy, as ever, worked hard up front, held the ball up well at times. So certainly kept that improvement going. Sort of chances were difficult to come by. I didn't get a lot of clear-cut openings. So it's looking at how we can create those openings for ourselves as a striker, and how we can create openings for the team as well. So the main thing to look at for you, Teddy, is you worked hard. So it's being clever with your runs. Sometimes just stopping completely and then bursting into life. Sometimes starting wider and then drifting inside where there might be space. Sometimes starting inside in the middle and then drifting wider to create an angle for a shot. And as we've said in the past, it's not always there's not always enough space to get the ball down, have a touch and then have a shot. So we need to hit it first time sometimes. So that would be your stretch points there, Teddy. Liam, again, worked hard, some really good follow-ups. So I think he scored at least one follow-up from a shot. So it was good to see you capitalising on that. Linked up well at times. Certainly when we were in the ascendancy, your confidence was high and you looked a threat going forward. So that was great to see. Where you need to stretch now is relax a little bit on the ball. If there's no clear options going forward, then just hold it up. Maybe lay it off, start again if you can't go forward. Shield it, protect it, work on being stronger with the ball. And similar to Teddy, come a little bit wider sometimes, so make a diagonal run instead of just a forward run, so that you can find a little bit more space for a shot. And then last but not least, Charlie, absolutely fantastic when playing on the left-hand side. You know, really worked hard, really made it difficult for the opposition to get past us down the flanks. Excellent in the transition to get, you know, from joining in with attacks to getting goal side, and you know, getting those tackles in, getting those blocks in, coming away with the ball, setting up attacks, and when he went in the middle then, some good moments of passing, always looking to link up, so that was a real plus. Stretch points would be, especially on a fast pitch, on a fairly tight pitch as well, it's making sure your first touch is good, and making sure you know where you want to go with the ball, and making sure you're aware of runners. So, you know, at times your teammates were making you aware of those runners. You know, as part of what we're saying with the communication of the whole team, is we want to make sure that the shout is coming in from all the players, but be aware that, you know, sometimes if your teammates are telling you where to play it, they can see things that you can't. So sometimes it's worth trusting them and just playing it to where they're telling you to play it. But generally, if you can get that first touch working well, which you really did at times, you know, then that's going to set you up for having more momentum in the game and knowing where you need to go with the ball before you get it, and also then being ready to support players again, and then the cycle continues. Get it, give it, get it, give it, get it, give it, and moving into good spaces in between. All right, so overall, you know, I was pleased with the attitude. I know the boys were frustrated, which is a good sign. They were disappointed. They felt they should have done better. So I feel that we will do better in the future. I'm seeing signs of progress. It's good that we're disappointed. Let's just make sure we channel that now into better performances and more consistent performances stretched out over longer periods. If we can do it for one period, we can certainly do it for two. All right, we absolutely dominated Swansea for one period. There's no reason why we couldn't do that for another period on top of that. All right, and we need to do that by just understanding the game better, being smarter in our play, being clever with our movement and the way that we link up together. Sometimes we need to play the ball quicker. Sometimes we need to play the ball in behind to stretch the opposition. And we really need to focus on being ruthless in our defending, always vigilant. You know, we did defend very well for the majority of the time. Just those little slips against good sides, we're going to get punished. If we're not tight enough, if we're not aggressive enough, then, you know, there's a good chance we'll get punished against a good side. So I hope that's useful. Let me know what you think.